Well, we have come together many times to socialize and entertain. Today, we like to speak about business. I've seen the passion and drive in many of our members. Some of them have created businesses while others dream of it. We created this community to support women by connecting them, by sharing our experiences, challenges, and successes. Today, we don't discriminate men. So welcome, guys, as well. We want to help each other to grow in the world of business as in life. Welcome to the first Femme business event.
Hi everyone. Standing here today as a founder of Female Social Club, I'm witnessing the importance of bringing together different minds, different people. It's like mixing bright colors to create a beautiful picture. You mix energy, you mix ideas, you mix experiences, and then you get an amazing result. Normally, when you think about business entrepreneurship, you think about big cities, you think about business hubs, you think about business rooms and spaces. But great ideas can be everywhere. They can be in central market of Lisbon, they can be in big streets of London or New York, they can be in small village somewhere in Romania, or at the beach of Marbella, or in the head of people who heard so many times that it's something not for you. But great ideas are everywhere. And then talking about the place where we are, Marbella is not used to be a really business place. But look around, it's changing a lot. It's changing with people which are coming here and bringing fresh energy, new ideas, a desire to change something, to build something amazing. And now, moving to our event, let's memorize that entrepreneurship is not where we are. It's about us, it's about what is in our head, it's about our desire to change something, to build something new. So let's speak about nice things, about startups, about great ideas. Let's support each other and build new, important and very interesting things to change our environment and change something around us and bring each other to success.
Thanks, Katya. Thanks, Maya. We are continue our event with Florian. The topic is From Zero to Hero, launching a successful startup like Superman.
That's funny because I will not talk about it. So first of all, hi everyone. Really happy to see everyone here. My motivation, besides supporting this amazing women and amazing club, is also to ultimately support Marbella as a place that becomes more of a business place than it used to be. And I think there are enough people who want to actually get stuff done, and I'm one of them. And I would love to bring more like-minded people over here, and hence very happy to tell you a bit about my personal safari. It's not strictly speaking a safari, as you will see. Some people who saw the presentation thought it's inconsistent. It is not straightforward, and I think that's pretty much what my journey has been. Inconsistent a bit, not so straightforward. With a lot of turns and a lot of mistakes being made. And I want to kind of, to be honest, not really talk about zero to hero. I don't know whether we probably thought about that catchy name to bring you here, but I think the more important things to talk about is all the things that didn't go so well. A few things went well, and I will also mention them, don't worry. Starting with one of the learnings throughout the last 25 years, actually, that I was doing stuff, is that you can probably learn more from other people's mistakes than from other people's successes. Because, all the books, all the kind of success stories that you hear, they all make sense retrospectively, but quite often it's just luck. Yeah? And actually, much of my successes were just pure luck, like being in the right time and the right place. And I don't think it is as useful to listen to success cases and think, okay, I'm going to do the same. Because, I don't know, going to Russia 12 years ago was a great timing, now it's bad timing, right? So I hope no one kind of replicates that part of my journey. So learning from mistakes, was for me a great thing, learning not only about mistakes, but also the dangers that show up on the way, like those nice little crocodiles down there. But let me start from the beginning. So I was born and raised in a small town in Germany, very boring. Definitely a place you want to escape from at some point in time. If you hear people's kind of great stories, entrepreneurial stories, what amazing companies they built, etc., even more so. And that kind of was my kind of starting point. And I always thought building your own company, I don't know, like many great companies around, but doing that by yourself, it's probably, it's probably rocket science. And it's a big mountain to climb, which, I was like, 16, 17, thought about it. I saw a lot of entrepreneurs, but I thought it's, you need to be older, you need to be, you need to have a lot of capital, you need to know a lot of things, and effectively, that's not the case, because sometimes there's just a way around, some like easy stairs to climb, rather climbing the steep rock. And I was lucky to get the chance to go kind of around that little, path on the stairs. When I was 17, we were offered to take over the front end of a small business, so to speak, calendar distribution. We were selling calendars, astronomy calendars, to bookstores across Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And the guy who was running that business was a bit tired of it. And he said, "You can run it. I give you all my back office, so don't worry about bookkeeping, whatever. Just organize the operations." So we did that, and it was like 17, 18. Did that for 2 years, and I learned it's actually not that difficult. And there are, of course, things that are difficult, but also you can find people to outsource this to, right? So very, very important. In the end, not to be scared about that kind of, mountain, but basically, try to zoom out and see that it's quite often all doable. And you can actually outsource a lot of things like we at that time did. I was anyways, young and thought after high school, I'm not ready, despite my great experience, but, selling calendars for, billions of dollars, probably difficult. So I need to probably study. I was lucky enough to pick a university which was very heavily focused on entrepreneurship and family companies, and I met actually fantastic people there, again, who inspired me, kind of giving me more food for thought. Nevertheless, instead of building my own business afterwards, I kind of, was somehow not bold enough at that time and thought it's great to learn from the best, company in the world, as they always, claim to be, in McKinsey. I went to work as a management consultant, basically working on strategy for, all kind of different insurance companies, etc. And I kind of learned a lot for sure. I did it for 4 years when I quit, as I really, I did learn a lot. Learned a lot the hard way, the long hours way and everything, but you realize you're kind of in that passing train, shouting out some advice, but you're not ultimately out there. So I wanted to be out there alone, and what I did was going to Russia indeed. Not that I want to compare myself or my co-founders with Columbus, but there was one thing that we had in common. We were quite ignorant and had probably a wrong view of the world. At that time, it was super useful, because I think if we had known everything about, building e-commerce, doing business in Russia, I don't think we would have ever made the step to go there. But yeah, I was 29, I think, at the time. My co-founders were between 25, 29 as well. And so we went there and had the big luck of being young and naive. And we worked a lot, got kind of to some result, but one problem, we thought we copy-paste a business that was amazingly doing well in Europe, Zalando, which is still an amazing company. And we thought we copy, let's say, the business model more or less. I was trying to run the operations kind of through the CFO point of view, so more, thinking through the financial aspects of it. And actually, we completely missed the point, because there was no lack of capital. We had enough capital raised. We had lots of other great assets, but finance wasn't the way to go. It was operations, because we realized there was actually after one year and being almost bankrupt, we realized there's no fulfillment center, so no warehousing, there's no last mile delivery infrastructure, no proper people you can work with, like, I don't know, DHL in Germany, right? Or in Spain for that matter. And so we were literally bankrupt. I mean, we then raised in an emergency round another, I think, $10 million and decided to build everything by ourselves. So I refocused totally. So I don't think, for some reason, this beautiful animation doesn't come through so much. But so we were 4 founders, and the great thing from the beginning that there was not just a CEO telling other people kind of what to do, but we were splitting up all the kind of important tasks. So I focused for, I think, 3 years on warehousing, delivery in all kind of strange places of the country. And we were doing quite well, I would say, up until some point when we realized also that we were becoming the bottleneck. So we were kind of 4 founders where and people were always waiting for us to kind of solve things. And that was, I think, quite a big issue. We only, I would say, only 4 years into the business, realized that we need to take much more care of the corporate culture, of the communication, the way we set up procedures, and I think we were very relentless and extreme at some point to put people into position with a lot of responsibility. Sometimes very young people, very great people, but so that was actually maybe the most important thing we did that helped us for the next 5 years to basically make ourselves a little bit like how to say less important. So and the company could easily run with us being for 3 months on vacation, right? So that was kind of what we managed. We also had other big advantages. We had the possibility to raise a lot of capital, so we, I think, raised in total over $400 million, and that was amazing. We also worked harder in the end than all other companies down there, so we think we made it work through year 5, 6, with a good setup. However, you see this little polar bear. That was the danger we were not seeing, and probably the most expensive mistake we've ever made was having I would say too powerful investor base who at some point had a very different incentive and a very different interest from us. Right? So we were totally focused on Russia, and at some point someone thought, hey, let's build a holding, put all kind of other businesses underneath, and then this is easier to IPO globally, for a couple of $1 billion more. So, and we were, I wouldn't say, we got a nice incentive to agree to all of that, right? So we made the first time in our life some real money, and we agreed to it, which was a mistake to join that holding. And in the end, it was a mistake for everyone. Everyone lost money with that kind of decision because it's diverting from the safari story, but holdings quite often imply a very big holding discount, and that was the case in this global fashion group which we were joining. So we got big time, I think, let's say, hurt financially speaking, but we moved on. And with the money we made on the way, we decided to also become investors. Question was, what were we actually doing? Sorry, business was called La Moda, and we were selling, and the company is still operating really successfully, fashion and lifestyle. So, sorry, no, the calendars, no, the fashion business about it's $2 billion now with 200 million EBITDA, so it's a very successful company, but I exited 2019, I think, or 20. So, but, so the point, yeah, we try to or we thought, yeah, we got the first time in our life some, real money, and thought, okay, we invest now because we know how to operate and we're really good. Let's invest some money. So the first thing went really well, and we invested in a food delivery business with two guys that worked for us before, and so we trusted them. They wanted to actually do a different business, but we convinced them, please do this food delivery business, kind of a Glovo, and it went super well. So we exited this to Yandex, which is, who knows Russia, is like, the biggest tech company out there. So we made a very good multiple on our investment, and then being, kind of super proud of ourselves, we invested more into other projects, but not always we knew so much about the topic. And in the end, that is pretty much also a very big lesson. There were too many unknowns in many companies we invested that we basically failed quite often. So I will get to our approach today, but there was a time when we didn't have a real philosophy or investment approach, and we were just kind of, we had a guy who took care of our investments, but like it was more, our decision was coming in more like randomly. When we liked something, we did it. What I think is something we also very, very heavily paid for was that fact. So if you don't know the geography, if you don't know, the team, if you don't know the business model, if you don't know the numbers in detail, that's all fine if it's one of them can be true. But if all three or four fundamental things are kind of unknown to you, that's kind of that's a tough one. And so we, my co-founders and myself, we lost quite a bit of money in sometimes even in things where we thought we know stuff, right? I don't know, selling fashion in the UK. We I think lost $3-4 million on of several people, including ourselves, and trying to sell cheap fashion in UK, but it just didn't work. So I think a big lesson for ourselves, and I'll get to this. I think, sure. Well, it depends. Let's say every case had different reasons for, let's say, for failure if it failed. Some actually went okay, but so those who failed all for different reasons. But I think we could have completely eliminated that kind of these losses or reduced those losses by being more thoughtful and maybe focus more on the things that we actually know. So I don't know, on the fashion in UK side of things, we had just a very junior team. And we didn't initially spend enough time. Then two of my co-founders actually left La Moda and tried to turn this business around, but it was kind of, it was a totally different business. It was not retail-based, it was a marketplace, and there was some, let's say, was a liquidity issue in the supply and demand synchronization. It didn't work out. So you had initially not enough supply. Then you had a lot of supply, but all the money was spent on the supply, and we didn't have enough cash resources to ramp up the customers, right? So it was kind of, whenever, Pedro, could you give me a water, please? Yeah, whenever you're in a marketplace business, where like, which is always about supply and demand synchronization, the liquidity, getting to the point where the marketplace has enough liquidity is extremely difficult. Once you're there, super powerful, right? Because you don't really have a lot of operational hassle with it and so on. But yeah, we definitely, it was a business model we just we haven't understood enough. And it was also a bit of an innovation. It was kind of, we picked all the super cheap stuff that is in Manchester and whatever, all the typically Indian, Pakistani producers, try to bring them online, but it was before Shein and before, I don't know, Temu and the Chinese guys pushed this with actually billions of marketing dollars, right? And we had maybe, I don't know, we invested maybe 3 million in customer acquisition. It's just not, you don't get enough visibility. So it was like altogether, we just didn't have enough firepower, and then on the way, I think, all lost a little bit also the belief that it worked. So it was, that was one case, and there were other cases, so, yeah. So coming more or less to the end of what I wanted to tell, what we're trying to do basically now is avoiding most of the mistakes. So we only invest in, so we're now running a company. Oh, super, I just need that. So we're now running a company, it's called FJX, which has basically engineering services and is doing also some advisory services, but also investments. But the investments we do only in things we really understand. So we don't do stuff anymore. We have 4 partners, and if not, like at least 2 partners are really, really knowledgeable. We just don't touch it. That's, I think, one thing. And when it's about bigger investments, then we do this actually in partnerships typically. I don't know, we do a joint venture with a retail chain in United Arab Emirates, or some logistics joint venture also down there in the region, and we always pick bigger companies to work with. So you get quicker to let's say from 0 to 1. Yeah, you basically kind of skip 0 to 1, which is the most risky and painful part. And however, you give up whatever 50% of the cap table. However, you also isolate your core business from, I don't know, any investor taking over. So I mean, back to that polar bear story who kind of ate us. I don't want to have that anymore. So we always now keep a very close, let's say, we keep close control on the cap table. We don't let on the core business anyone, let's say, take us over. So, however, we're not on the top of any hill. There's always a bigger hill coming, and I'm sure behind that one there's the next. So this is something I also want to basically share, that you kind of, maybe it's a bit sad, but I don't think there is any time to relax if you really want to build something. There's always a new challenge coming around the corner, something that you didn't plan to meet. Some, you know, the next crocodile, polar bear, or whatever. I think you just need to be ready for that, and I think that's kind of what is the core message. I think it's the best safari exploration journey, whatever you call it, that you can be on if you're ready for that. So you will never get bored. At least I've never been bored. I learned, and I still do learn every day something new. But you also need to be ready to, to deal with uncertainty, to sleep little, to, deal with, to deal with problems that you never wanted to deal with. It's just a fact. So if you still want to start the safari, I would recommend strongly, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. We want to generate engagement with the public, with the stage, and please start to ask.
Okay, I looked up your founding, the members, the founding and Grunge base, and I saw it's not, I would say, not the most diverse founding group, maybe. So did you take this into account, that maybe it's important to have a diverse leadership, or at least CEOs, by selling fashion, selling food delivery, where your target group is minimum 60% female? So did you take this into account, especially in this round? It's interesting.
Very good question. So first of all, in La Moda, I had, I think, in my management board, was like probably half of them were women, at least towards the end. Maybe in the beginning, less so. But we balanced that really nicely, and different nationalities. It was, although it was kind of, we were German co-founders. The time 2 of my co-founders left, we got also much more kind of, let's say, Russian influence on the management, which was, in the beginning, was good. We didn't have it. I mean, and again, no offense, but everyone was telling us like business in Russia is done this way and that way, and we were lucky that we were kind of at some point immune to that. So we were very good to be non-diverse for the initial phase. It was just, diversity is something probably that is super useful in general, but we had like kind of no time to even discuss different opinions, right? So we had to say, okay, like we're 4 people, we have 4 areas, let's go and run, and we need to be really quick. So in that time, I think it was useful to be kind of totally, well, different. We had different skills, but we didn't have like so many different opinions. We were, it was at some point when you're at a bigger stage, it was super useful to. There's much more at stake. It was very useful to have different angles, different views that you kind of consider when taking bigger decisions. So yeah, I'm totally in favor of it. And in our current business, we are working on that.
I had another question because I'm the owner of a business that has just started to grow, and we got in touch with some investors. And this is our first time that we work with investors and not with people who start their own franchise. And I would like to know how do you invest? Like how do you determine which kind of deal you make with the company what you're interested in?
As I said, the most important criteria for us now is that we know something about it. Yeah, that we don't ever invest in something we don't feel like we're experts in. And that is not necessarily always me, but like at least 2 of the 4 partners right now. And the second most important thing is there a real problem that is being solved? Actually, one of the things I invested earlier was also very costly because we were not very clear what problem we were solving, right? So yeah, it's kind of many companies come up with great ideas that make sense for the founders or for some people around, but there's maybe not a real problem out there. And then I think third would be definitely the team. So, well, because it's natural because we don't have an investment fund of $500 million, which you when you can invest into late stage. So when you invest early stage, the team is the most important, would say, success factor. And yeah, so the team is the third one, I would say.
And would you go for a stock in that company, or would you go for giving, for example, 100,000 euros and wanting this much back? How do you? What kind of deal?
No, like venture debt. No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't do. No, it's only an equity stake that we would take. There are different ways of structuring this, or kind of, but it's technicalities. In the end, it should be an upside in the future value of the company. So.
You said that you made all the key decisions together, all 4 partners in the beginning. What about now? I'm asking because I also have a partner and we do make all the key decisions together. But right now it's working. I don't know in the long run how will it work, or we have to change, divide.
No, I think you need to divide. I think when I meant we decided together, I think we were, the key message was we divided and conquered, right? So I don't know, one guy took care of the technology, one guy took care of the customer acquisition, I took care of the operations, so that was more or less the split, and we were very autark. And later, when it kind of came to I'd say, to a situation when we were too overloaded and the intelligence of the teams wasn't 100% utilized, we decided we need to kind of replicate this on a broader base. So I would say you definitely don't want to be a consensus-based organization. I think that's the worst thing, deciding everything together is not worth it. I would say rather define kind of an agile setup where you have islands of responsibility that, can, for most of the decisions, kind of act by themselves. And then, of course, there probably need to be someone to be, coordinating if things go kind of in a desync. But I think in general, like rather distribute the decision making as much as you can, and have people you can ask for advice. But I think that is very important, by the way. And investors can help you, by the way, also. That is very good to have good investors for that. But I would not say decision making together is anything good. I haven't seen that.
And with the polar bear, I was just wondering, was it then that at the end they had too much equity in the company, or yeah?
Yeah, we diluted way too much, and that was. So we had so much funding. There was also competitive advantage, so we could basically build better infrastructure. So we had in the end the largest delivery company in Russia, and that was a great asset. But it was. Obviously on the capital side, the cap table side, looking not so great anymore for us. you can argue what's the better way. I mean, in an e-commerce business or any business that's very capex intense, I think, unless you have billions yourself, probably better to go with investors, because doing a capex invest heavy business model without the capital is not good, right? So you kind of end nowhere. I would say that was kind of an evil we didn't have much kind of ways to get around. Just to agree to roll up the shares in some holding, that was just in the end stupid, and stupid for the shareholders as well. So they didn't do a good deal.
So how much equity should you allow to give to someone?
Is that if it's a not so equity, not so capex heavy business? I mean, why would you give away, I don't know, more than, say, 20%? But if something is capital heavy and you need to grow fast because there's a first mover advantage or any kind of advantage of being swift, then can of course dilute much more. I know many Zalando guys have I think they all made now $1 billion each, the two key founders, and they don't own a lot of shares anymore. I mean, maybe like 10%, right? But they built a business that was at the peak, I don't know, $15 billion worth or something. So I think there's no answer to that, unfortunately.
I'd like to know if you could tell us a bit more about your involvement with an accelerator such as Antler, and what would the people that have startups here, what would they look for? What is the more valuable benefits to startups to gain from accelerators such as Antler?
Antler is something like Y Combinator or Techstars. Those I think are globally speaking the biggest. It's not really accelerators. They're kind of very early stage investors, and what they do is they give you, for let's say 12% of your company, they give you 180,000 euros. They give you also lots of other support, a community. They typically even have residences where you kind of live for some time and can build your company, and that's kind of the model. And they do at some point. These companies, of course, they have follow-on funds, so they have growth funds to make, round A, B, and whatever follow investments. But typically, they're like the first investor that you have, and that's an alternative to kind of bootstrapping. I would say, particularly if you have a business that is complex. I mean, if I don't know, I had 5 restaurants before and I want to have another restaurant, of course that's kind of not really, a great thing to do. Or, I don't know, if I would build another fashion e-commerce business now, I wouldn't go to an accelerator because I know how to do it, and anyway, their capital doesn't bring me very far. So I think it is, when you build something kind of crazy, innovative, not a copycat, but something really that needs a lot of intellectual input on the way, I think is a great environment to be in, because you definitely find great professional support. So I just joined Antler as a venture partner to participate with the fund in the Middle East, because we work in the Middle East quite a bit, but also to give some of my experience to the first time. It's actually not first time founders, but to the founders. Probably half of them are first-time founders, and half of them have already done something. So, great, something I think amazing to look at. Of course, Antler is, to my mind, the best because it's run by really cool people from Norway, actually, and as we have a lot of Nordics around here, so I'm sure they agree. Better than going with the Americans. But no, jokes aside, I think they have one of the best. They have one of the best database built up over time of founder profiles, where they can really understand quite early on. I mean, based on definitely, let's say, advanced analytics, let's call it, what is a good combination of founders for this kind of business. So they give you a lot of actually data-based support on shaping your idea, shaping the team, etc. So it's a great, quite data-driven business. Which doesn't, all this Sequoia, etc., they are great, later stage investment funds, but they don't have, the kind of amount of data. Yeah? So they're making, I don't know, like 15 50 investments a year, and Antler is doing, I think, this year 500 investments, right? So and you learn crazy lot. And these guys also, that's another advantage, sorry, and then I finish, they have an amazing network of VCs to get follow-on investments from. So you start with Antler, or I mean, Y Combinator, and then you definitely can speak to someone from Sequoia, which is much more difficult if you go by yourself.
What is the sector that you focused on, your investment fund?
So we are not an investment fund. We are, I would say, then more of a venture builder. But what we do is consumer retail logistics. So, yeah, stuff that is somewhat related to what we did before. So, buying and selling, marketplaces, moving goods from A to B, all of that stuff. A bit of fintech, but not really too deep.
Okay, could you tell us your opinion about Malaga environment?
So, and I think it's a good bridge to the next speaker from our Santander friends. So I think for sure it's changing. I mean, I was maybe in Malaga, I don't know, 15 years ago the first time, probably. I didn't come across as a place for entrepreneurs or for tech. It was definitely a great place and a sunny place. I'm not talking about Marbella here, so that's another story. But so definitely it has improved big time, and we are ourselves looking for one of the business streams actually in building a technology hub in Malaga. The problem is a little bit the real estate is kind of scarce. There's not so much cool stuff anymore, but provided we'll find something, we don't see a reason why, for example, the best engineers from Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, etc., why they should go to Lisbon. Why should they go to Lisbon and not to Malaga? So we think also with Spain having eased the immigration rules and taxation and improved the taxation schemes, we think Spain in general can be an amazing place for IT talent. And Malaga for sure is one of the best locations, geolocations for that. Yeah, we're happy to investigate further. Hopefully soon establish that hub.
Okay, thanks. Well, any question or? Okay.
Good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Buenas tardes. En primer lugar, disculpad porque mi compañero que iba a venir a hablar en inglés pues no ha podido venir por motivos personales.
So good afternoon, and first of all, apologies because my English-speaking colleague that was supposed to come here couldn't come because of personal reasons.
Por lo tanto, soy yo la persona que tiene que seguir, explicar un poco lo que es nuestro proyecto dentro de Banco Santander, donde, estamos siendo el banco, un banco conservador, como es Banco Santander, pues la apuesta que está haciendo desde este año respecto a startups.
So I'm the person who's going to explain about what we're doing in Banco Santander. We are a conservative bank, and I'm going to explain a little bit what we do in terms of startups.
Yo soy Roberto Fernández, represento a Banco Santander, soy uno de los responsables a nivel nacional que tiene para el proyecto de startup. Soy el responsable del cono sur de España, es decir, llevo todo lo que es la parte de Madrid para abajo y ahora vengo a presentaros el proyecto tan apasionante que tiene el banco.
So my name is Roberto Fernandez. I'm the responsible for the southern part of Spain for Banco Santander. So I'm going to be here today to explain what we do for startups within our bank.
Empiezo con vuestro permiso.
Bienvenido.
Gracias.
So welcome here today.
Pues vamos a empezar con un dato macroeconómico.
So we're going to start with a macroeconomic data.
Desde el mes de febrero, que empezamos el proyecto, hemos ido aglutinando todo lo que es la información que hemos ido cogiendo de los distintos actores del ecosistema.
So as of February, when we started the project, we have been agglutinating all the information that we picked up from the ecosystem.
En España ahora mismo, según los cálculos de varias fuentes, tenemos 11.000 startups.
According to the calculations from various sources, in Spain at the moment we got 11,000 startups.
Aunque creemos, y estamos estudiando, creemos que hay alrededor de unas 6.000 startups con actividad comercial.
Although this is something that we're studying, but we believe that there are about 6,000 startups with commercial activities.
Estas startups estimamos que dan 140.000 empleos, hay 366 grupos de inversión, 140 aceleradoras y 99 incubadoras.
So these startups provide 140,000 jobs. There are also 366 investment groups, 140 accelerators and 99 incubators.
Otro caso a destacar en las startups españolas es lo que ha pasado en parte de Europa. Hemos visto que durante el año 2021 y 2022 hubo un gran incremento de la inversión y, sin embargo, en el 2023 pues está costando levantar esta inversión.
And in terms of startup in Spain, the same is happening as in the rest of Europe. We saw a big rise in 2021, 2022, but in 2023, we're finding it difficult to start the investments.
¿Por qué crees que está pasando esto?
Why?
Primero porque las valoraciones se han ido...
Let me just translate the question first, but why do you think this is happening?
En primer lugar, porque las valoraciones de las empresas en los últimos 2 años han caído.
First of all, because the valuation of businesses in the past couple of years have been falling.
Además de que, los tipos de interés no favorecen la inversión en proyectos de alto riesgo.
And obviously, interest rates do not lead to high risk investment.
Dentro del proyecto de Banco Santander hemos analizado las distintas fases de la vida de una startup.
So within the Santander project, we've analyzed all the different phases of the life of a startup.
Además de identificar los distintos actores financieros que acuden en cada una de las fases de la empresa.
And also detecting all the different financial actors that take part in this circle of life.
Además, el banco está estudiando cómo posicionarse en cada una de las fases de vida de la empresa.
And also the bank is trying to study how to position itself in all the different phases of the business's life.
¿En qué fase va a entrar Santander?
Pues buena pregunta. La fase donde entendemos...
Sorry. In which phases is Santander coming into?
Vamos a tener varios productos según la fase. Sobre todo los instrumentos que tenemos de Venture Capital entrarán en la parte Serie B.
Okay, so we got different products for the phases, and especially the venture capital tools are going to be part of Series A-B.
Roberto, no os vais a limitar a startups españolas, ¿no?
Are you going to stick to Spanish startups?
Sí, efectivamente. Vamos a hacer startups nacionales y también startups internacionales.
We are going to have both national and international startups.
Dentro de los análisis que hemos hecho las startups, dentro del South Summit de Madrid de este año, hicimos una encuesta donde le preguntamos a las startups cuál era la situación en España de las startups y qué era lo que veían más importante.
Okay, so within the startups, we did an analysis together with South Summit, and to find out through a survey what startups thought that it was most important for them.
¿Cuál es tu opinión?
And what's your opinion?
Mi opinión es curiosa porque nos llevamos una gran sorpresa cuando vimos que además de la financiación que le pedían pedir a un banco, nos encontrábamos que nos pedían dos cosas súper curiosas y que no entraban dentro de nuestra idea, que era visibilidad y acuerdos estratégicos.
Okay, so my reaction was quite surprised because apart from the financing, which is what you expect from a bank, the other two items, the other two things that they were asking were visibility and strategic agreements.
Y la otra gran sorpresa que nos llevamos es cuando le dijimos qué es lo que más pedían, o sea, cuál era su preocupación mayor dentro del ecosistema.
And the other surprise that we had is when we asked what was their main concern within their ecosystem.
Y nos llevamos una gran sorpresa al ver que valoraban la financiación como el acceso a la fiscalidad. O sea, la fiscalidad para las startups le preocupa mucho en España a los emprendedores.
So we saw that apart from the access to financing, their other concern was the taxation for startups here in Spain.
Y cómo no, teníamos que analizar lo que podíamos darle el banco a las startups.
So of course we had to analyze what the bank could give to startups.
Lo primero que nos pedían era usabilidad y sencillez en los programas que pone el banco a disposición como banco tradicional.
So the first thing that they were asking were usability and simpleness in terms of all the products and services that a traditional bank can offer.
Financiación e inversión, obviamente.
Obviously financing and investments.
Servicios de valor añadido, como pueden ser productos más sofisticados como Venture Debt, e incluso financiación internacional.
Okay, added value services and other more sophisticated products like venture debt and international services.
Atención al cliente, obviamente.
Obviously customer service.
Especialistas de negocio que hablen el mismo idioma que el emprendedor.
So business specialists that speak the same language as entrepreneurs.
Y como no, como buen banco, transparencia en las condiciones financieras.
And of course, like with any good bank, transparency in their financial business.
¿Ya no sois un banco tradicional?
Bueno,
Are you no longer a traditional bank?
es un banco fundado en 1857 y por lo tanto está costando levantar este proyecto, pero estoy convencido que dentro del cambio que tenemos es una de las patas fundamentales para cambiar el banco.
Okay, the bank was born in 1857, so we find it quite difficult to change our view of doing things, but I'm sure that that is something that we can do now.
Y ahora, bueno, explico un poco dónde hemos trabajado estos 6 meses levantando los diferentes productos para atender al emprendedor.
So I'm going to now talk a little bit about what we've been doing in the past 6 months to work on the different products for entrepreneurs.
Y para ello tenemos que comprender qué significa en España una startup.
And to do this, we first have to understand what a startup means in Spain.
Desde diciembre del año 2022,
So from December 2022,
el organismo público llamado ENISA
the public entity called ENISA
ha puesto las siguientes características para definir lo que es una startup y así tener un certificado único en Europa para identificar lo que es una startup.
has drafted these characteristics to know what a startup in Europe has got to be, all the different features.
Roberto, veo mucha gente fotografiando la presentación. ¿Luego la podemos compartir?
Sí, la podremos compartir y en inglés.
Okay, the many people taking photos of the presentation, it's something that we can share later and in English as well.
Dentro de las características más importantes en España para identificar a unas startups por parte de la empresa pública es tener CIF.
Okay, so within the features that are needed by this public entity in Spain, the first one is to have a fiscal number in Spain.
Domicilio social en España.
So your register address in Spain.
Edad comprendida entre 5 y 7 años de vida, como máximo 5 años y 7 años para empresas biotecnológicas.
So for biotechnology businesses, they have to be between 5 or 7 years old.
Y no facturar más de 10 millones de euros.
And the maximum turnover is 10 million euros.
Una cosilla, tenemos preparados 10 minutos para preguntas, pero podéis ir interviniendo cuando queráis.
Okay, we got 10 minutes for questions, but you can in whenever you like.
Continúa. Dentro de la oferta de valor de 360 de Banco Santander Startups tenemos los siguientes puntos.
Okay, so within the value of 360 value offers of Santander Startups, we got the following items.
Vamos a contar con equipos específicos en cada territorial.
We got a specific team in each area.
Los principales hubs de innovación en España son Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Málaga y Bilbao.
So the main innovation hubs in Spain are Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Málaga and Bilbao.
Además, vamos a contar con la red World Café, que es un modelo de negocio nuevo dentro de Banco Santander.
Also, we have the Work Cafe network, which is a new business model within Santander Bank.
Es más, tenemos desde este lunes el nuevo World Café en Marbella.
Even more, as of Monday, we got the new Work Cafe in Marbella.
1000 metros para todos los emprendedores, sean clientes o no sean clientes.
So 1,000 square meters for all entrepreneurs, whether they are clients or not.
Además de contar en Marbella, además, con una oficina especializada en empresas de todo segmento.
Also in Marbella, we have an office specialized in businesses in all the different segments.
¿Estáis abiertos entonces a acoger a la comunidad internacional?
So you're open to receive the international community.
Efectivamente, vamos a tener equipos, todos hablan inglés, no como yo, y van a atender a todo lo que es el ecosistema emprendedor.
Yeah, we're going to have English speakers, not like myself, and they are going to attend to all international entrepreneurs.
Y bueno, como parte importante también de nuestra oferta, tenemos que identificar la parte no financiera.
Also, as an important part of our offer is the non-financial part.
Es la primera vez en Banco Santander a nivel internacional que ha sacado una cuenta sin ningún tipo de comisión para el emprendedor.
So this is the first time in Santander Bank that we have created an account with no commission for entrepreneurs.
Y recordad que somos un banco, que ganamos dinero con comisiones.
And please remember that we are a bank. We earn money by charging commissions.
Además, dentro de nuestra oferta, también vamos a ayudar al emprendedor a canalizar las ayudas Next Generation.
And also within our offer, we're going to help entrepreneurs to channel the next generation path.
Además, el cliente emprendedor, startup que abra cuenta con Banco Santander va a tener la posibilidad durante un año de tener Microsoft Founders Hub gratuito, es decir, todo el paquete Microsoft, Excel, Word, gratuitamente durante un año.
Okay, and also clients, our clients that open an account with us, they will have the whole Microsoft Office package for free for 1 year.
A todo esto tenemos que sumar que ponemos a disposición del emprendedor International Desk. Es una herramienta que ha creado el banco para todo cliente de Banco Santander y que quiera expandirse al exterior y de esta manera tener acceso a los principales clientes futuros que puede tener la empresa. Pongo un...
Also, we have set up an international desk, so all our clients will have access to international businesses through Santander.
Esto me parece muy interesante. ¿Puedes explicarlo?
I think it's very interesting. Can you please explain a little bit more about it?
Yes. Imaginaros un emprendedor que necesita conectar en Perú o en Colombia o en cualquier país donde tenga presencia Banco Santander. Tenemos presencia en 34 países. Ponemos en contacto al emprendedor con la empresa. Le damos el dato de la empresa que necesita para acceder.
Okay, so imagine, for instance, that an entrepreneur wants to get in touch with a business in Peru and Colombia, and we got contacts in 34 different countries. So we will put this person in touch with the company in that specific country.
Además de todo esto, ponemos a disposición una página, o sea, una comunidad que se llama Santander X.
Apart from that, we will offer our clients a community called Santander X.
Es la comunidad más extensa de emprendedores que hay en España y en Latinoamérica.
This is the widest entrepreneurs community in Spain and Latin America.
En esta comunidad pueden recibir formación gratuita por las principales escuelas de negocios.
So in this community they can have, for instance, free training by the main business schools.
Tenemos mensualmente o bimensualmente premios enfocados a diferentes verticales de negocio.
So we got monthly or every 2 months some awards focused to each vertical lines of the business.
Además, captamos fintech para que nos den soluciones al propio banco. Fintech.
And also we try to attract fintechs, so we can work with our bank with that.
O sea, es posible hacer negocio con el Santander si eres una startup.
So is it possible to do business with Santander if you're a startup?
Eso estamos intentando.
This is what we're trying to achieve.
Otra de las patas principales es el partnership. ¿Cómo vamos a entrar dentro del ecosistema? ¿Cómo vamos a buscar a nuestros socios? Bueno,
So the other important part is partnership. So how we can get into the ecosystem, how we can find partners.
Para ello, bueno, pues vamos a utilizar los canales tradicionales, medios, redes sociales y marketing.
So we're going to use the traditional channels such as media, social networks and marketing.
Y bueno, la presencia en los principales eventos del mundo emprendedor, como es el Web Summit, Valencia Digital Enterprise Show en Málaga, y eventos locales como The Pool.
And obviously our presence in main events, business events such as the Web Summit, the 4YFN in Barcelona, and locally like here.
Otro punto a destacar, y el más importante creo yo para cualquier emprendedor que quiera hablar con un banco,
and obviously another point to point out, obviously being a bank, for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
We have questions.
Yo creo que es lo que vas a hablar ahora mismo, pero
Sí.
iba a preguntar cómo un startup puede aplicar y competir para ser elegida a ser financiada por Santander X.
So the question is how a startup can apply and compete to be chosen to be a startup for Banco Santander.
Para ello tenemos los instrumentos, los 3 instrumentos que tenemos ahora es la financiación tradicional. Hemos creado un marco de financiación especial para las startups, cumpliendo una serie de requisitos.
Okay, so so far we had the traditional financing, but we're also creating some special financing for startups that have to, follow certain requisites.
Podremos otorgar operaciones tanto de circulante como de largo plazo. Circulante es
So we can do operations, both with working capitals and on a long-term basis.
Además, estamos con las entidades públicas, como son sociedades de garantía recíproca o sociedades públicas, que nos aporten garantías para apoyar al emprendedor.
We're also working with public entities such as reciprocal guarantee societies that will help entrepreneurs.
Además, desde la semana pasada hemos lanzado el primer fondo de Venture Debt desde Banco Santander.
And last week we also launched the first venture debt fund of Banco Santander.
Este fondo, en principio, va a estar gestionado por la principal gestora de fondos de inversión en Venture Debt de España. Es llamado Inverready.
Inverready. Okay. This is going to be managed by the main investment business in Spain, which is called Inverrede.
Okay. Para ello, el banco ha dotado un fondo de 100 millones de euros para empresas de pequeño y de medio tamaño.
So, for this purpose, the bank has set up 10 million euros for small and medium-sized businesses.
Los tickets de inversión van desde 500.000 euros a 5 millones de euros.
And the investment tickets go from from $500,000 to 5 million euros.
Y luego hemos sacado otro tipo de fondo para más serie B y para empresas de mayor tamaño. Este fondo se llama DSG ESG. Su capitalización ahora mismo es de 600 millones de euros.
Then we have other funds for larger businesses, and it's called DSG. At the moment, the funding is 600 million euros.
No hay importe por operación, es decir, hemos hecho la última operación ha sido de 140 millones de euros.
Operations do not have a limit on the amount.
Y el mínimo de tickets son para 5 millones de euros.
And the minimum operation is 5 million euros.
Además, este fondo da servicio de advisor and M&A.
Also, this fund gives advisory and mergers and acquisitions service.
Y con esto que hemos realizado durante estos 6 meses,
And with this and what we've been doing in the past 6 months,
hemos completado lo que es toda la vida de una empresa,
we have completed the whole life cycle of a business.
ya que desde la zona pre-seed
So from the pre-seed area,
tenemos premios para acompañar a los emprendedores.
we got awards for entrepreneurs.
En la zona más seed tenemos el marco de financiación y el nuevo Venture Debt, que solamente atiende operaciones en España.
And in the seed area, we got the financing framework. For operations in Spain.
Y a posteriori tenemos para inversiones mayores de 5 millones de euros el fondo que hemos comentado antes, que es ESG-DSG, a Tempo Growth también.
Okay, and then for operations higher than 5 million euros, we got the fund that we mentioned earlier, which is the ESG-DSG, a Tempo Growth.
Para fases más growth tenemos ya el fondo SMART, que es fondo de deuda.
So for more growth solutions, we got the Smart Fund, which is a debt fund.
Y soluciones como Tres Mares y Banca Mayorista Global.
And solutions as Tres Mares and
Santander Corporate Investing Banking.
Santander Investment Banking.
Y con esto pues ya tenemos todo lo que es la vida de una empresa hasta que la podemos sacar a bolsa.
And this is the whole life cycle of the company until it can hit the.
Como fue el caso de Florian, que salió a bolsa en Alemania.
Like Florian that did it in Germany.
What are the most prominent examples of startups that you have financed? Maybe you can share some names that you're supporting.
Ejemplos, nombres de startups que ha ido ayudando.
Pues mira, las últimas operaciones que ha firmado el fondo ESG, en Barcelona se ha firmado alguna operación de 40 millones de euros con la empresa de motocicletas Stark.
The last operation that was signed for an amount of 40 million euros was with a motorcycle company in Barcelona called Stark.
Star Motorcycles. En Almería, 25 millones para una sociedad de biotecnología llamada Kimitec.
And in Almería, 25 million for a biotechnology company.
Y bueno, muchas más compañías que lo puedes ver en la página web de cualquiera de los fondos que tenemos.
And many other companies that you can see on the websites of the funds that we have.
You have discussed about the different funds of Santander investing in different rounds, series, for each specific fund. But what is the main criteria, key performance indicators, or criteria that the bank looks for while investing in startups?
Los criterios principales es
Los principales criterios, sobre todo en el Venture Debt de Inverready, es que la empresa facture 1 millón de euros mínimo, haya levantado una ronda A antes y tenga crecimientos a doble dígito.
Okay, so the main criteria is that the company has got at least minimum 1 million euros. They already must have had a first funding round, and they have a double-digit growth.
Las operaciones serían en préstamo con el Venture Debt de Inverready, préstamos a 4 años con posibilidad de hasta carencia de 18 meses.
Okay, so we offer 4-year loans with a grace period of up to 18 months.
Además, se negocia con los dueños la entrada en capital hasta un máximo del 10%.
And we negotiate with the owners with the capital entry of maximum 10%.
Hay una cosa, hemos recalcado que os vais a constituir un partner estratégico para todo el panorama startup y le vais a acompañar en todo el ciclo de vida. Sobreentiendo que está sobreentendido el follow en cada ronda de inversión.
Buena pregunta. Dependerá de cómo lo vea en cada momento el fondo donde esté. Es más, podemos acompañar de un fondo a otro. Es decir, podemos empezar con Inverready y puede hacer el acompañamiento en la siguiente ronda, el siguiente fondo, porque tiene más capacidad.
Okay, so this is about follow-up, the question was. Yeah. And it depends on what they want to do, so we can even go from one fund to the other.
Este fondo lo vamos a tener para las primeras operaciones, va a ser en noviembre. Hemos hecho comisión ejecutiva, cierre de contratos, presentación en Comisión Nacional del Mercado de Valores y lanzamiento.
So this is the launch is in November. So we done the executive commission. We closed contracts. We did the CNV presentation, and the launching is going to be in November.
Y para profundizar un poquito más, ya que has puesto la pregunta, en el fondo de DSG, que es el gran fondo que tenemos de Venture Debt dentro del Banco Santander, es muy parecido pero con tickets mucho mayores. Es decir, buscamos, nuestro ticket ideal es desde 5 millones a 25 millones. Características, se amolda al cliente, es decir, es un traje a medida.
Okay, and in terms of the DSG, this is for bigger tickets, higher tickets, so we're talking between 5 and 25 million euros. This is according to the customer, so it's kind of made to measure.
Y además de todo esto, ponemos a disposición de todos los clientes uno de los mayores sistemas de medios de pago que hay ahora mismo en Europa. Getnet es una startup comprada por el Banco Santander en Brasil hace ya unos años y nos da soporte para atender en todos los tipos de medios de pago y cobro que pueda tener un cliente.
Also, we offer our clients huge facilities in terms of payments. Getnet is a startup from Brazil that Santander purchased to be able to offer this service to our clients.
Nuestro objetivo con esta empresa es llegar en el medio plazo a igualar a Stripe.
Our goal is to be as equal to Stripe in the midterm.
Pero de momento somos más baratos.
At the moment we're cheaper though.
Y bueno, pues con esto muchas gracias a todos y cualquier pregunta.
Thank you very much. And if you have any questions.
And beyond funding, how can Santander provide additional value to startups, let's say expertise, networking, and so on?
Valor adicional como networking.
Bueno, estamos, como te he dicho, llevamos 6 meses trabajando en el proyecto y una de las asignaturas pendientes es, en cada hub, ser nosotros el centro dinamizador de todas las startups. Para ello, pues tenemos pensado acompañar a los Venture Capital e intentar hacer pues centros como puede ser de pool para que estemos conectados entre todos. Con ello tenemos los World Café, que creemos que son una referencia para nosotros y para el emprendedor.
Well, we only started 6 months ago, and the idea, the goal is to have in each hub to be the organizing entity, so accompanying venture capital and places like the pool to, to develop their business.
Perfecto. ¿Alguien más?
In your portfolio? Strange topics, I mean, something unusual, not like motorcycles, but something really unusual.
¿Cuál es la
La
startup?
más rara
La más rara.
del portafolio que tenéis.
Buena pregunta. Cuestión. Tenemos, a todos nos sorprende las startups sexuales.
So, sexual startups are quite surprising.
Todos tenemos un amigo que tiene problemas de eyaculación.
We all have a friend with ejaculation problems. I didn't prepare this, but yeah, go on.
Y tenemos una empresa startup que arregla el problema de la eyaculación.
And we got a startup company that will fix ejaculation problems.
La empresa es muy interesante, se llama MyHixel. MyHixel. MyHixel.
The company is quite interesting. It's called MyHixel.
Y bueno, espero haber respondido.
I hope that answered your question.
Me parece interesante recalcar, Florian ha puntualizado que hay un problema en torno a todo lo que tiene que ver con tecnología, con servicios técnicos, con IT. Me parece muy interesante cómo el banco podría impulsar a emprendedores como Florian que vienen a dar soluciones.
Es una de las grandes asignaturas que tenemos a día de hoy. Es acompañar a grandes gurús, por así decirlo, a gente que sabe de tecnología, que son Tier 1, como son Florian, e intentar, junto con el banco, acompañarlo y crecer. Es cierto que nunca se nos había dado la casuística, o se nos había dado, pero no de esta manera. Entonces, estamos en un proceso de evaluación.
Okay, so the question is how to accompany big companies, tier 1 technological company in their path, such as Florian. And this is something that we are working towards. So it's a growing process.
Sí, Mira, nosotros tenemos dos firmas, una en España y otra en Portugal, ¿vale? La plataforma, que como tú sabes, de pago está en Portugal. Si nosotros te pidiéramos al fondo inversión, ¿eso supondría un problema que estuviera en Portugal?
Because they have two companies, one in Spain and one in Portugal, and if they ask for investment in Portugal, would that be a problem?
Como he explicado, tenemos tres fondos ahora mismo para startup. DSG sería tu fondo, porque es un fondo de carácter internacional. Quiere atender a todas las startups a nivel mundial. Sin embargo, el de gestión Inverready solamente tiene capacidad para invertir en España de momento. Y el fondo Smart solamente hace inversiones en Portugal, pero solo agrícolas.
Okay, so we got three different funds. We got DSG, which is international, and Ready, which is only for Spain, and the Smart Fund works in Portugal, but only within agriculture.
¿Qué crees que es más importante, una idea o un equipo?
What do you think is most important, an idea or the team?
Según con quien hables.
Depends who you talk to.
Pero creo que las dos son importantes. Si no hay una buena idea, no hay un buen equipo. O sea, si no hay una buena idea, creo que por muy buen equipo que tengas, podrás conseguir algo, pero no conseguirás ser el mejor.
Okay, I think both are very important. You can have a good idea, but if you don't have a good team, you can achieve something, but you're not going to achieve the best.
And good teams find good ideas.
What is the typical investment timeline for startups?
Timeline te refieres a
Tiempo de inversión, ¿cuánto tarda?
los ciclos. El ciclo aproximado son 4 o 5 años.
4 or 5 years will be the timeline.
Depende del sector. El sector health, el sector que en Granada y en Andalucía hay bastante, es un sector bastante complejo en el sentido de que, primero, tienes que ser un gran especialista en conocer el producto y la necesidad y bueno, son inversiones de una maduración muy larga, en torno a 7-8 años.
Okay, it depends on the sector as well. For instance, the health sector is quite complex. You need to be a specialist. It's a difficult product, and that might take 7 or 8 years.
¿Quién decide?
¿Quién toma las últimas decisiones de inversión en
Muy
una
buena
startup?
pregunta.
Very good question.
Depende del fondo. En el fondo de Inverready tenemos una gestora que toma las decisiones. Presentamos las operaciones desde el banco y la gestora, que es la mayor gestora de España, toma las decisiones por el banco.
Okay, so for instance, in the eBay Ready funds, we got an expert that will make the decision for the investments here in Spain.
El fondo DSG, las decisiones las toma el banco, ya que ha sido capaz de contratar a los mejores analistas del mercado.
For the ESG and DSG, the bank makes the decision as they have the best analyst on the market.
Uy, ¿cuántas preguntas?
We have 3 questions.
Para asegurarme que entendí bien, si el startup todavía no factura 1 millón, todavía no puede aplicar para Santander X.
No, me he explicado mal. Para el fondo de Venture Debt que tenemos de Inverready, la media es de 1 millón en adelante, la facturación es de 1 millón en adelante, pero tenemos soluciones como son el marco de financiación o en un futuro vamos a tener otro fondo, Venture Capital, para atender las series Pre-Seed y Seed. Pero de momento, como digo, llevamos 6 meses y hemos corrido mucho para sacar estos 3 fondos y que complemente. Pero en breve vamos a tener lo que comentas, para atender a ideas, vamos a tener también algún fondo para acompañar, o bien vamos a coger alguna gestora, o bien vamos a fondear otros fondos.
Bueno, pienso que en 6 meses han logrado bastante. Y la otra pregunta...
Espera un momentito, ¿sí? Todo en español, si no se me va el santo al cielo.
Cierto, cierto.
Okay, so the question was whether the startup needs to have a minimum turnover of 1 million euro. So they got the IBER funds, and they got a management system with that, and that will require 1 million euro turnover. They've only been doing it for 6 months, but shortly they're going to have other options, such as a financing frame, venture capital, that will take care of other types of startups. Siguiente.
Yo iba a preguntar que, todavía si no tienes una facturación de 1 millón, no puedes aplicar todavía, pero en el caso hipotético que ya tengas 1 millón de facturación, ¿cómo aplicas? ¿Online? ¿Cómo le llega esa aplicación a la gestora?
Soy yo la persona que canaliza cualquier inversión dentro del banco, dentro del mundo startup. Aquí lo que he dicho, de Madrid para abajo, te pones en contacto conmigo, te doy mi email o teléfono y nada, es rápido la decisión.
Okay, the next question was how to apply, and as he mentioned earlier, he's the person responsible for Spain from Madrid southward, so just get in touch with him by email or telephone, and he will deal with it. Todo el mundo va a aplicar.
Sí, bueno.
La fiscalidad que mencionaste al principio, si ves que el gobierno va a tener algún tipo de política para cambiar la situación.
El gobierno español, entendemos, y no soy yo un especialista en fiscalidad, entendemos que no va a aplicar ningún cambio. Sin embargo, las comunidades autónomas van trabajando en la línea de mejorar la fiscalidad, ya que quieren atraer el talento. El caso de Andalucía, concretamente Málaga, hay una puesta en escena por parte de las instituciones públicas para mejorar, atraer talento, y que de esta manera también podamos mejorar la fiscalidad de las startups.
Okay, so on a national level, obviously he's not an expert on taxation, but there isn't much done. But what we do have is on a regional level. So in Andalucía or in Málaga, there is a special taxation with the goal of attracting talents. So, if we give special taxations, then talents will come.
En Canarias, la fiscalidad es distinta. En Ceuta y Melilla, que son ciudades autónomas, es distinta a la de Andalucía o la de Madrid.
In the Canary Islands or Ceuta and Melilla, which are autonomous communities, the taxation is different from Andalucía or Madrid.
Gracias.
Yeah, I tried to help you. Is Santander planning to be a little bit more operative helpful in the sense of being like an extended incubator? For example, you have a team of digital experts and you lend this team to your startup and then they take it back if they don't need it anymore. So is this planned or is this out of scope for Santander?
Bueno, perfecto, sí, la verdad que buena pregunta. Entendemos que tenemos que dar un valor de advisor, es decir, tenemos que acompañar a la empresa en presentarles instituciones públicas, en presentarle aceleradoras, presentar proyectos que puedan confluir juntos. En fin, lo que estamos creando ahora mismo es un ecosistema para que todo fluya más fácil. Queremos copiar un poco el modelo americano.
Okay, yes, we got to offer an advisory service to the startup companies. We want to introduce them to public entities. We want to introduce them to accelerators so they can develop their projects and within the whole ecosystem. So we want to have the kind of US system.
¿Nos quieres contar un caso de éxito?
Bueno, llevamos muy pocos meses. Sí es cierto que dentro del fondo SMART, que es el fondo de deuda del banco, sí tenemos ya varios casos de éxito. De hecho, Kimitech, que lo he comentado antes, es un caso de éxito.
¿El nombre era?
Kimitech.
Kimitech. Okay, so some success stories. Obviously, we've only been working for 6 months, but within the 6 months and in the Smart Fund, we've had Kimitech, which has been very successful.
También tenemos otra en Andalucía invertida que se llama Scubic. Es para movilidad sostenible dentro del transporte de mercancías en la ciudad.
Okay, we got another company called Scubic in Andalusia, which works within sustainable mobility in transport.
Y bueno, ya son dos.
So there's 2 of them. Si hablaste del networking global, si puedes explicar un poquito cómo funciona.
Mediante nuestra plataforma Santander X puede acceder en cualquier idioma importante al acceso al networking que estamos planteando para los emprendedores.
So through the Santander X platform, you can have access in every language to the setup that we are offering now to entrepreneurs.
Y si él quiere tener acceso a clientes futuros en otros países, tenemos la plataforma de Santander Trade para poder hacer International Dex y Santander Trade para que pueda acceder a todo el conocimiento de nuestros clientes.
And if you want to work on with international companies, we got Santander Trade, and they can put you in touch with clients internationally. ¿Está una plataforma la de?
Sí, pero para ello debe ser cliente.
Yeah, but you need to be a client.
What? Sí, efectivamente. Cero comisión, es una cosa gratis.
Okay, but in any case, yeah, it's 0 commission. So, después de la...
No entramos en breve, vamos, en algunas ocasiones entramos en equity, pero en muy pocas ocasiones entramos en equity en las sociedades. Solamente con la intención de entrar, pero salir rápidamente. Somos una entidad financiera y al final intentamos maximizar el riesgo. Nada, nunca entramos en equity, pero sin aspiración a entrar dentro de un consejo de ninguna compañía.
Okay, so not very involved in equity, try not to step into it. At the end of the day, Santander is a financial entity, so that's what they do.
You were mentioning there's a Santander Cafe in Marbella already.
Yes, sí.
Yes, where is that?
Abrimos la oficina de Santander World Café en Príncipe de Grongelhon.
Es muy cerca de aquí, ¿no?
Yes.
Okay.
El próximo lunes.
I will visit. Thank you.
¿La va a visitar? Con si ya habéis tenido, ¿qué piensa de las empresarias, las empresarias si habéis tenido éxito con mujeres empresarias?
Bueno, tengo el placer de tener una presidenta, que es Ana Patricia Botín, que bueno, son emprendedores en serie toda la familia. Creo que son un ejemplo a seguir en España y en Europa. Y bueno, sí es cierto que cada vez vemos que hay más emprendedoras, pero sigue costando mucho encontrar emprendedoras en España.
Okay, so they got a president who is Ana Patricia Botín, who is an example for the whole of Spain and an example to follow. However, it is difficult to find female entrepreneurs in Spain.
Mi pregunta va correlacionada. Como es difícil, tendréis que apoyarnos más fuerte.
So because it's difficult, obviously, the bank will need to support female entrepreneurs even more.
Lo propondré.
Okay, he will suggest it.
Sobre todo las ventas. Las ventas al final es lo más complicado, es lo más complicado de todo. Pero la venta es difícil dentro del banco para vender cualquier producto financiero, la venta es difícil para cualquier persona que tiene una empresa e intenta salir al mercado y creo que es donde tenemos que apoyarnos todos, en intentar vender todos, cuanto más mejor, pero con todos.
So the most difficult part is sales. Sales, even from the bank point of view, to be able to sell financial products, and sales for the companies that obviously need to move their products. So we need to support each other.
Por aquí.
Just another question. So I know you mentioned about the global network and also would you support the startups in Spain with a global teams? So for example, a startup in Spain, but they will hire people working elsewhere, so in any other country.
Si va a apoyar startups en España, pero que van a trabajar con un equipo internacional.
Es muy buena pregunta también porque es una de las cosas que estamos sacando adelante con el proyecto GetNet. Estamos para, si la empresa vende en e-commerce, por ejemplo los e-commerce, vamos a dar la posibilidad, igual que Stripe, de poder tener cuentas flotantes en cualquier país y de momento solamente lo podemos hacer en euros, pero vamos a hacerlo en muchas divisas en breve.
Okay, so with the GetNet, their e-commerce system, they try to do the same as Stripe to have a floating account internationally. At the moment, it can only be done in euros, but they're going to try to do it in other currencies.
Además, vamos a poder en cualquier país donde tengamos presencia, pues vamos a poder contactar con un gestor que va a poder apoyarlo en cualquier operación financiera que tenga que hacer en el país de referencia. Y pongo el caso, imaginar que se va a Alemania, pues le ponemos en contacto con el International Desk de Alemania para que contacte con mi homólogo.
Okay, so in any case, whichever country you go to, they're going to put you in touch with an operator there who will handle your accounts there. So if you go to Germany, they will put you in touch with the same person who does his job in Germany.
And that will be also for the talent, like when you hire the team, the staff.
También cuando emplea un talent team.
Mira, cuando si la compañía se mueve a otro lugar para reclutar el personal allí también, van a tener personal de Santander.
Es una asignatura pendiente y la apunto porque no nos habíamos planteado nunca esto.
It's not something that they thought about, so they will have to look into it.
Voy a intentar hacerlo en español, pero si me puede ayudar. El venture en Europa, la primera parte, el capital, ya es como, hay bastante, hay bastantes empresas, bastantes como iniciativas para crecer el venture del primer parte. Pero el gran problema en Europa es la segunda parte, el crecimiento. Entonces, no tenemos capital para crecimiento. Quiero saber si Santander están como trabajando con ese problema o si y cómo lo están.
Efectivamente, ya cuando se hace la empresa muy grande, estamos trabajando en dos líneas de negocio. Bueno, estamos focalizando en dos líneas. La primera sería, el banco ha contratado a 100 banqueros de inversión de Credit Suisse en Estados Unidos para sacar dentro del mercado americano la salida a esa bolsa de posibles empresas europeas. Y además tenemos la posibilidad en España de acceder con bolsas y mercados Scale-Ups, que es una nueva línea que se va a presentar en octubre junto a Santander Bolsas y Mercados Españoles, para acompañar a la salida de bolsas en pequeñas cantidades.
Okay, so in terms of businesses and initiatives, there's plenty, but the question was how do you support how do you support the growth? Now there are two lines. First of all, we've got 100 investment bankers with Credit Suisse in the United States. And also we have a new line that will be launched in October called Skylab.
Scale-Ups.
Skylabs.
Lo siento, ¿querés seguir? Entonces, no sé cómo decir, liquidity, liquidez. ¿Se puede?
Sí, equity es capital.
Sí, pero el liquidez está viendo de fuera de Europa. Piensa, es más,
sí.
La inversión está viendo de Estados Unidos, pero están como introduciendo la Europa. Es más, eso es la pregunta. Was that the right question? It was like, where's the liquidity coming from? Yeah. Is it like it seemed like that they were partnering with a US investment bank to bring liquidity for scale-ups into Europe? That was the question. So is there appetite for providing liquidity within Europe, or is it mostly outside, like US capital?
El capital en principio es de España, o sea, va a salir de Santander España en principio, aunque tenemos también para algunas soluciones capital de Santander Corporate, que Santander Corporate de la semana pasada está en Nueva York.
So we have, the capital is mainly with Santander España, so local, but we have recently set up Santander Corporate based in New York.
Una pregunta acerca de las tendencias. ¿Dónde crees que se está moviendo el mercado?
In terms of trends, where do you think the market is moving to?
Según con quién hables.
It depends who you speak to.
Creo que, no soy experto en tecnología ni muchísimo menos, pero sí es cierto que hay ahora mismo un cambio. En esta semana pasada estuve comiendo con los principales Venture Capital en España y tienen un cierto miedo por el cambio que está suponiendo la inteligencia artificial y otras tecnologías que se están introduciendo.
Okay, so in terms of new technology, there is obviously a change. It's been having lunch with some venture capitals in Spain, and obviously there are concerns about artificial intelligence and all the changes that are happening at the moment. ¿Se utiliza mucho la inteligencia artificial en Santander?
Desde los departamentos de investigación y desarrollo llevan 6 años utilizando inteligencia artificial. Yo lo tengo prohibido.
Okay, he's not allowed, but in research and development, they've been using artificial intelligence for 6 years.
Es muy importante el control dentro de los equipos de la inteligencia artificial, porque la inteligencia artificial se nutre de la información que nosotros ponemos, y la información de cada empresa es privada y por lo tanto es complejo.
It's very important to control it, because obviously the information that artificial intelligence has got is private information from companies, so it's something that's obviously you need to control.
Una pregunta práctica. Cualquier emprendedora / emprendedor que vaya a Santander a por financiación, ¿cuánto va a tardar, más o menos?
So a practical question: how long does it take? You know, if a business person goes to Santander, how long does it take?
Esa pregunta es como cuántos años vamos a vivir.
The question is like, how long are we going to live, or how long is a piece of string?
Depende.
It depends.
More or less?
Less, okay.
Muchísimas gracias a todos.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Prometo el año que viene venir hablando en inglés. Lo siento.
So next year he'll be speaking English. I'm out of the job.
So guys, thank you so much for being with us today. It was our first experience as our club to speak about more serious topics, not only to entertain ourselves, but think about something more global and plan something more global around. So let's hope it's not our last meeting. And thanks a lot again for being here, for being engaged, for asking interesting questions. And big thanks to our speakers for sharing their experience and their plans and their history. Thank you.